We are live. Hermana Mausling, Real Meal Revolution's successful client and huge fan. Hermana, thank you for joining us to talk to us about the Eating Psychology Online Transformation Program. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks, Jonno. Thank you for inviting me to have an interview. It's really I'm a big fan.
That's great. So, Hermana, take us back to before you kind of met up with Real Meal and tell us a little bit about what your relationship with food was like, how you used to eat and when you used to eat and why you used to eat. That's really what I
Yeah.
want to get to. Yeah.
Okay. So, um, I don't know if many people will believe this, but maybe some experience the same. But it used to be a case of the moment I wake up, no matter what's going on in my life, the moment I wake up, I would be thinking about what am I allowed to eat next? What, diet, and not what is a healthy diet. What is, am I on track to lose the weight? Am I on track to lose the weight? And it would be quite a big stress factor, like throughout the whole day. And then every night would be like, was I good today? Did I do it today? And it consumes you. It's every single part of my life was like that from primary school, because that's when it first started for me. My mom put me on a diet at like 10 years old or something. So it's really since then, there hasn't been a time in my life where I haven't, before, at least before Real Meal Revolution, where I wasn't almost obsessed with dieting and eating. And there wasn't something for me like what you eat can be healthy and a healthy lifestyle. It was, what do I eat or what do I not eat until I get to my goal weight? And then, then I can eat whatever I want because then I'll be at my goal weight. But it was a constant struggle and I tried everything. And when you try everything, you learn quite a few things along the way, what works, what doesn't work. So I thought I knew everything. But then when a girlfriend of mine would say, oh, I found this diet where you inject yourself with the pregnancy hormone and then it increases your metabolism or something, and you only eat 500 calories a day, but it's okay because the injection makes you not hungry. Then I would think, oh, please stop doing these fad diets and you are crazy, until the next morning I log on and buy the pregnancy hormone injection. And you do it for a while and then it works because you're only eating like 500 calories a day, but it will all start crumbling down, very soon after, and you'll just gain back the weight. So that was literally my whole journey. The fad
Wow.
diet, crash, diet works for a while, all comes back. Yeah.
And that you said started when you were like 9 or 10. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
25 years ago.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And
Wow.
that's 25 years of my life. I've been dieting, and I remember when I've got two small kids. So the two pregnancies I had, the one thought was, oh, thank goodness I can't be on a diet now because I'm eating for two. So I can't be on a diet. So at least I don't have to stress about a diet. I can eat whatever I want. When I'm hungry, I'm going to listen to my baby and my body. And
Yeah.
but then also every morning I would stress a little bit, like, okay, I can eat what I want, but wow, I hope I get the pregnancy weight off afterwards. So there was literally not a period in my life where that wasn't an issue. Yeah.
Wow.
So
And then so obviously like there've been many instances throughout your life where you've kind of hit the bottom and you've
mm,
decided,
mm,
okay, like I'm gonna fight back and
yeah.
make a difference. How was this time different? Or kind of maybe tell us more about like the point you reached where you were like, actually, instead of just
Mm,
fixing the problem in the short term, like I'm going to take this seriously now and actually make
yeah.
a lasting change.
Yeah. So I think one of the big things I did throughout all the diets was I tried to do it alone, number one, because you can't say that you admit that you're overweight. You can't say that you have a problem. That's something to be ashamed of. So I really tried to do it alone often. And then I read up about the real meal revolution. And then I was like, I'm going to give this a go because I know from what I've read, this is going to work. But even then, I did it alone. and then I have questions, and I did the classic Monday to Friday, perfect, because I can do it. I'm strict, I'm perfect. And then, old habits and everything comes crashing down on the weekends. So it's like you keep setting yourself back. And I think it was at that point where I was like, this is something that I really believe works. This is like, I believe in it with my whole heart, but I still can't make it work. I still can't do it. And I think it was that point that I realized, maybe I need some help. Still didn't know how to do it, and or still didn't want to ask anyone. Still didn't want to, join a group or anything like that. And I honestly believed, and that was also throughout my life, that I will never lose the weight. I will always pick it back up. I have no self-control when it comes to food, none. And those thoughts and feelings were the ones that also just made me hit rock bottom. Like, I'll always have a problem with food. Food will always be a problem. Yeah.
And then you joined the eating psychology online transformation program. What did you discover? Like, what are some of the main insights that you've discovered through that process?
Yeah. So I saw in one of the emails, or someone mentioned it to me and said, I think you would enjoy this, and then because I was rock bottom, I was thought, but I've heard it all before. Eating psychology. I'm an emotional eater. I know that already. When I'm sad, I eat. That's all they're going to tell me. But I think because I was feeling so like I'm never going to, get this right, I thought, well, whatever. What's one more course to do? And Jonno, it's actually even hard for me to say what was like one thing, because there's been so many things that's happened. I think learning, so because the thoughts were probably my biggest problem and enemy, and that brought me down completely, was to realize that those thoughts that you have about food, like you'll always be the girl at the party that eats all the food, that you'll never be able to wear that type of clothes, or you'll always struggle, you have no self-control. Like those thoughts, it was the biggest blessing for me to learn in this course that those thoughts aren't true. And it was quite like shocking, because how can they not be true? They're true. There's evidence for it. They're true. So I think my biggest thing was to learn that those thoughts are, it's almost part of the habits you've learned over the period of time. And that they're not true, and that it isn't a case of you will always have a problem, you'll always struggle. And I think that was very significant for me, especially because I've had 25 years of trying different things. Change that mindset was quite significant. And then something else that has had a big impact in my life as well with eating is that the way I thought, I'm an emotional eater. So if I'm happy or sad, doesn't matter what I'm feeling, I'll eat. I really thought that was just a part of how I'm wired. That's just how I'm set up. My body wants to eat when I'm crying, and it makes me feel better. And I've learned that when I'm angry, I rather stick someone with a fork. So that's at least okay. That's the only time I don't want to eat. And then learning that those things, that it's not that you're an emotional eater, to learn that I tried to use food to self-medicate or self-soothe. That was quite a big, eye-opener for me, because then you can see, okay, but why am I sad? And food doesn't actually have that much power to make me feel better. And I just keep going in that circle. Those two things have had a big impact on life and how things are going.
And you've learned new ways to soothe the emotions.
Yes, yeah, that's been so helpful. Yeah.
That's amazing. So just to paraphrase, basically what you're saying is the big lesson was learning that at the time it was like, okay, well, the counter's dirty, so we use Handy Annie to clean the counter. And that's like I'm feeling sad, so we use the medication to take away the sadness. And what you learned was that actually, even though that's like that probably like solves 20% of the problem, because it does make you feel better, there were ways that could like diffuse 90, even 100% of the problem that didn't involve eating.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And it's been helpful in other areas too, where where it's not just using eating to self-soothe. It's been an eye-opener of things that might be bothering me or wrong that I never knew was there, and I can find ways to deal with those things better. If I get angry at my husband and he has no clue, then at least now I can think about, okay, why am I angry and what happened? And so in all aspects of life, that has actually been very, very helpful.
Wow. And
Yeah.
what does life look like now? If you look into the future, how has it changed the way you see the future of your health, the future of your weight
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
eating?
So I'll admit one thing I never wanted to hear was to say that, you should love yourself and you shouldn't think about the weight loss. I never wanted to hear that because I have to think about the weight loss and I won't love myself until I'm there.
Yeah.
So part of that has changed, but I now get it. I now understand it, because saying you have to love yourself doesn't mean you have to look a certain way to love yourself. And it also doesn't mean that you're going to struggle forever with food, but you have to love yourself. You could always be overweight, but you have to love yourself. But it was more a case of shifting the focus to more real things, your thought patterns, how you feel, anxiety and depression, which I know a lot of people have symptoms of during this horrible COVID time and working from home and not seeing people, and to learn that all of those things are connected and also connected to the way you eat. So I think looking forward, is to not focus on the wrong things, not to focus on how I look, but how I feel, how my mental health is, how, and I do believe now that I will get to a goal weight, which is my healthy weight. But it's not to be skinny or whatever social media tells me, but I will be happy in my skin. I will be able to wear the things I want to wear. But just to shift that focus from obsessing with that and obsessing with food and diet, it's actually quite relieving to know that food isn't a big factor in my life anymore. It's just not. And I never thought it would be like that.
Yeah, that's super powerful. So, like, if I understand what you're saying, is basically, well, a lot of people think that they have to, in order to feel worthy, like they have to reach a certain outcome. And for some people, it's money, and for some people, it's a certain look. And what you're saying is that can come from the inside.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that like you still don't want to be, slightly thinner, like look slightly better, but that doesn't govern how you value yourself.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So you don't have to, focus only on the goal. You can focus on the process and do it from instead of just, I can't go through a process before I'm at that goal. I can't think about my health before I'm at a goal. So that's exactly it.
What kind of people do you think would benefit from going through this process that you've just gone through?
Sure, I actually think everyone, because there's been so many different things that I've learned from this program, and every single session we've had, I've been like, I didn't know that. What? Are you serious? And it's had a huge impact on me. But I think if you also feel like you're never going to get over food and overeating, and you're always going to want the cake and the chocolates, and you're always going to want the bad things, and you can't change overeating, and you can't change the fact that you binge and you're an emotional eater. That's just how you are. And even if you feel like you're struggling with all these anxiety thoughts and symptoms of depression, anxiety, even then I recommend the eating psychology program. It might not have anything to do for you with eating, but I've actually had benefits on my depression and anxiety that I suffer from. This program has actually even helped that. So that's why I say it's for a large amount of people.
That's mind-blowing. Wow, Hermana.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I know you're a busy high-end executive and your time is precious, but I'll thank you now for joining me, and just to say congrats on the internal transformation you've had. I know that it took lots of work, and I can see you just look different. You look lighter and happier and more comfortable, and it's so great to see. Yeah.
Thank you, Jonno. All
Cool.
right. Thanks so much.
We'll be in touch soon. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Bye.
Thanks, John. Bye.